No matter how much we play, it never feels like enough. We rank up, improve, get better gear, and somehow, we always feel behind. This feeling is not because we're bad at the game, and it is not something we're imagining. Modern games are designed so that feeling behind is the default emotional state. In this video, I am going to explain why this feeling never fades away, and how the game systems are designed to keep it alive. In my last video, I talked about comparison, which is about how seeing other players affects how we feel about ourselves, but feeling behind is different. That is because we can feel behind even when we stop looking at other players. Even if we are getting what we want, even if we are improving, it never feels enough. So, what exactly is that? Let us start by analyzing the older game structures. Taking Undertale as an example, we buy the game, we enter the game, we go through the story, the map, the fights, and we reach the end. The goal is very straightforward, achievable, clear and finite. It is to reach the end of the story. And once we reach that, we're done with the game. We feel satisfied, we enjoy the game, and we move on to something else. This is entirely different from modern games. We have PvP games that have seasonal resets to make players grind repeatedly for limited rewards, battle passes that also reset periodically, or in PvE games, they have rotating endgame content, gear upgrades, and constant updates. The purpose of all of that is to retain players. There is nothing fundamentally wrong with that, until the definition of what is enough is constantly shifting, because we are always chasing the next thing. This changes the focus of gaming, because there is no clear goal in these games anymore. You are only chasing the next tangible goal you can set your eyes on, making you feel stuck, inadequate, and trapped. Let's focus on live service PvE games first. Modern PvE games have seasons and patch cycles, which come with limited time events, rewards, and banners. Taking Genshin Impact for example, we can often find ourselves calculating our Primogen reserves, deciding whether to pull now or save for future characters. This creates the pressure to farm out all content in the entire game, from map exploration to story to daily quests, and most importantly, time-limited events. Since these activities directly determine whether or not we can obtain the character, as the character itself is a major part of the content, missing a portion of the events can feel extremely frustrating. And even if we complete all of them, we might still not get enough resources, which keeps us feeling trapped. Other than that, it also pressures players with their fear of missing out, as missing time-limited content or when a new piece of content dropped would mean that they weren't present when it mattered. Every single time we miss a season, we are behind. Every single time we miss a banner, we are behind. Even if we simply start late in the game, we are behind. There is no way to recover what we have missed while the system remembers it and punishes us for it. There are lots of games with new player catch-up events. They temporarily soften the impact, but they never truly address what players have lost. What's missing will remain missing, leaving the players with less resources and a permanent sense of incompletion. Now let's talk about PvP games. Ranking systems exist in every single PvP game, and there is also some sort of metric about the performances as well. These systems are infinite by design. No matter how much we climb and improve, there is always another tier, and someone will always be ahead. While the top of the ladder never stops moving, even when we are improving very fast, even if we are putting in lots of time and effort, our improvements becomes invisible as the entire player base is constantly improving, even the professionals, making us feel that our rank is becoming the new baseline. This feeling of not being good enough is usually a product of 4 psychological phenomena. The first one being imposter syndrome, which is a psychological pattern where we doubt our skills and accomplishments, making us feel like a fraud despite our evident success. This often makes us attribute success to mostly luck or other external factors, causing self-doubt and feeling of inadequacy. The second one is the Dunning-Kruger effect. It describes how as we gain more knowledge and experience, we become much more aware of how much we still need to learn and master. Therefore, mastery doesn't grow our confidence, it often leads to doubts. The third one is subjective reality. Once we have reached a certain level and it becomes familiar, our brain no longer considers it as a challenge and instead treats it as a baseline and stops rewarding us for it. Personally, this affects me the most, as I often compare my eternal scores to my past performances and dismiss them as easy. I would think it is something easily achievable and I have to be better than that. Even though it was once the evidence of real progress, it has been reduced to nothing more than a baseline. Subjective reality also causes us to judge ourselves harshly when a game feels emotionally difficult, even if we are objectively performing well. And finally, the last one is perfectionism. When we reach a certain skill level, it is very easy for us to adopt a mindset where any mistake is seen as a personal failure instead of a learning opportunity. This means improvement becomes less visible than failures. This is further reinforced by the harsh feedback from in-game performance metrics such as kill-death ratio or accuracy in rhythm games. This is a cycle that constantly causes the feeling of being incompetent. This is why instead of feeling progress, we feel like we should be higher. It is not because of failure, but because of the existence of a ladder that never allows completion. This is a very common phenomenon for most gamers, which is that we often blame ourselves for a system that was never designed to let us feel finished. We never think about how systems has no endpoint, but instead we are very focused on ourselves and telling ourselves that we are falling behind. And over time, we keep giving ourselves so much pressure from this, and it kills all motivation and all enjoyment. All that's left is obligation, anxiety, and frustration, not because games are evil, but rather they are optimized for retention and sustainability. This is exactly why the feeling of falling behind never goes away. New goals are constantly thrown at us. New limited content keeps being added, driving fear of missing out. And the psychological bias with the perception of skill level of the player base in a competitive environment are constantly driving countless comparisons internally. However, understanding this does not mean we have to quit games. We are all engaged in the games of our choice for our own reasons. Maybe the gameplay is fun, maybe you love the franchise, maybe you love playing with your friends, or maybe you are just there to achieve. It is crucial that we separate our self-worth from these infinite systems, and we should choose how we engage in these games, choosing what is enough, and not let the systems control what we do and think. Because the moment we stop thinking about all of these goals and focus on the enjoyment of the game itself, we will be taking back control. If this resonated with you, or if you have felt this pressure yourself, remember that you are not the only one, and it is the system's designs that cause this feeling. This is the end of the video. If you have any concerns or ideas, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.